doing very good. This is yet another week, and here I am with another video. So whoever is new to my channel, thank you for stopping by, and let me just describe the channel a little bit. So this channel talks about important information for children of parents who have recently migrated to Canada or anywhere actually outside India, or who are looking to immigrate. And whoever has been watching my channel, thank you very much. If you do like my content and find it useful, please do subscribe and share with whoever you may think it can be useful for. So yeah, and without wasting much time, let's get started. So in my last video I spoke about couple of things that you may have to do on priority when you come to Canada. Important paperwork, important so to say to-do list for you. तो उसी में एक चीज़ थी that I had mentioned about community center and registration to that. So I thought, why not, let me just describe that a little bit more, because that's very relevant for kids, and even for adults it's very relevant. So yeah, just like any other place, here also if you want to learn something like an extracurricular or engage in it, there are multiple channels, right? There are private institutes, or there are private places where you can go and learn a skill or an extracurricular activity. There are things run by the government, which are particularly community centers here, where you can go and engage in some activity. Or now there is this whole, like for example, you're sitting in Canada and you want to learn something, you can also do it online, for instance from India or somewhere else. So it's the same here. यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा डिफरेंस है how things are run by the government. So आप उसको कंपेयर कर सकते हैं जैसे इंडिया में स्पोर्ट्स कॉम्प्लेक्सेस होते हैं या जिम खानाज होते हैं. इट्स लाइक दैट. सो यहाँ पे प्रोविंशियल गवर्नमेंट रन करती है कम्युनिटी सेंटर्स, एंड वो कम्युनिटी सेंटर्स एक्चुअली मोरलेस हर एक लोकेलिटी में होते ही हैं. तो उन कम्युनिटी सेंटर्स में एक वाइड रेंज ऑफ एक्टिविटीज़ होती है जो वो कम्युनिटी सेंटर रन करता है. उसमें से कुछ प्रोग्राम्स फ्री होते हैं, कुछ यू हैव टू पे अ फी. एंड जो फ्री है, लाइक यू कैन गो एंड रजिस्टर योर सेल्फ इफ देयर इज अ स्पॉट अवेलेबल. जिसमें रजिस्ट्रेशन करना है तो उसका रजिस्ट्रेशन एक पर्टिकुलर डेट पे खुलेगा, एंड देन यू हैव टू गो और डू इट ऑनलाइन. And so this is how it kind of functions here. मैं थोड़ा सा बताना चाहती हूँ why. So I am going to particularly talk about the community center, the facilities run by the government, not the private one, not the ones that you can possibly be here and learn from India. So for all of that, maybe we can cover all of that in another video. So I'm going to particularly talk about the community centers in Canada, in Toronto particularly. And my experience with it. अब question ये है कि why to prefer community centers over, let's say, getting it through some private player. Now there are multiple points on this. So first is obviously the cost, right? So since it is run by the government, it's way more cheaper than if you were to go to a private player. So that is point one. Second point is थोड़ा क्वालिटी का भी फर्क है. तो since it is not run by private players, incentive to make money out of it is less. We have felt that when we go to a private player and learn something, and in a minute I'll just share my experience of doing that, is we feel that there is some incentive that they keep delaying the progress just to make money, right? Because we'll keep going back to them and then etc. Also, government may, there's a quality control because they have these certified trainers, or certified, for example, for swimming, they have certified lifeguards and everything, and they have proper levels. So you finish one level, then you go to another level, and so on and so forth. So quality control रहता है, I feel. Thirdly, especially for kids and for everybody, I feel, since it is run by the government, a lot of people here opt for the government ones or for the community centers rather than the private ones. So us perspective say, I would say, for your child there's a lot advantage in terms of social interaction in the government run community centers than the private ones. तो वहाँ अगर आप प्राइवेट में जाएंगे, फॉर एग्जांपल, आपको 2-3 बच्चे 4 बच्चे मिलेंगे, whereas if you go to the community centers you will find more kids, right? So उस तरीके से social interaction का एक factor आ जाता है, which I find is very useful. तो ये कुछ factors हैं. Now before I move on to explaining how it functions, let me just share my experience with you. तो हम जब आए, and I had mentioned this in one of my previous videos, it was peak COVID, so everything here was closed. All the community centers, everything was closed, and we were very keen that our daughter learn swimming because उसको थोड़ा fear था water का. So we thought, the sooner she'll start, the better it'll be for her. क्योंकि community centers बंद थे, so we approached one of the private places, and she started going there. And after, like, I think good 1 season of it, slowly it so happened कि वो शायद हमने उसको renew नहीं किया, and then slowly basically the community center started opening. अब वो जो थोड़ा सा duration गई वो private वाले में, एक तो literally triple the price था जो हम अब पे करते हैं community center में. Secondly, there were no proper demarcation, there was no proper levels. Okay, level 1 hai, so if you finish level 1 you'll go to level 2. There's no such thing like that. Thirdly, हमें realize हुआ, me and my husband both being swimmers, that they were not teaching at a pace that they probably should be, and that's something, like, that's our assumption, that's our judgment on that. But we thought that they, and now we can compare, obviously, because she's going to a community center. Somehow we were not so impressed by the private place where she was going to learn swimming, vis-a-vis now that even, and this is despite paying like 3 times the price. So yeah, I mean, I would clearly recommend that. And एक चीज़ मैं बताना चाहती हूँ community centers के बारे में, कि अनलाइक स्कूल्स हियर, सो स्कूल्स में क्या होता है कि आप जिस लोकेलिटी में रहते हैं वही एक स्कूल होता है पास में, और जो भी आपका रेजिडेंशियल पिन कोड है उसके हिसाब से आपको एक ही पर्टिकुलर स्कूल में जाना ही पड़ता है. Like, you can't choose to decide to send your child to another school which is a little far away. So unlike that, यहाँ पे community centers में ऐसा नहीं है. Like, if for example the one nearest to your place does not have a particular facility and you find it in another community center a little far away, you may decide to do that. So there is no compulsion on that. So that's point 1. Secondly, यहाँ पे जो कम्युनिटी सेंटर्स होते हैं, दे रन प्रोग्राम्स फ्रॉम लिटरली बेबी टू टॉडलर टू चिल्ड्रन ऑफ ऑल एजेस, then even to senior citizens. So in a way they are far more comprehensive. They are like, one stop shop for the entire family. Basically एक फैमिली में हर आदमी कुछ ना कुछ एक्टिविटी फिगर आउट कर सकता है जो वो आइडियली कर सकता है या परस्यू कर सकता है कम्युनिटी सेंटर में. सो दिस इज समथिंग आई रियली लाइक अबाउट कम्युनिटी सेंटर्स हियर. तो आप ज़रूर इसका बेनिफिट उठाएं. इवन इफ यू आर एन अडल्ट, you can go there and find a sport or find any kind of activity, and there are like range of activities starting from yoga to sports to like Pilates and everything. So I'm sure you will find something to keep yourself busy. अब मैं थोड़ा सा एक्सप्लेन करती हूँ इस प्रोसेस के बारे में. तो just like I said, some of the programs are free and they're drop-ins. When I say drop-ins, it means like you can just go, and if they have a spot on that particular day, you can just pay a minimal fee and attend that session, attend that program. So one is that. Another is there are multiple programs for which you need to register on a particular date, on the day that they open the registration for. And these programs are highly competitive, and especially now because there's so much of immigration happening, so limited spots होते हैं आपको. You have to be ready basically on that registration date to get yourself or your child registered. Mostly online होता है, so I think that ways it's easier. So the first step how to navigate through all of this is to know when is the next registration date basically. So ये आपको ऊपर दिखेगा कि एक सिटी ऑफ टोरंटो का वेबसाइट है, उसमें आप रिक्रिएशन में जाएंगे तो यू विल गेट ऑल द इंफॉर्मेशन. So first step is to know when is the next registration, just so you know, right, that I have to be ready on that day. The second step is for you to have there are two things that you need. That's a family number and a client ID. Now family number, so one family can have just one family number, so you don't, like each of you won't have to have a separate family number, so one family number. And then within one family number you can register as many members as you want of your family, and then each one will have a different client ID. So basically you have to go on this website and log in, and then they'll send you the family number and the client ID. So that's the second step, because unless you have that you won't be able to register yourself or your child. Now the third step is on the registration. So before the registration date actually, आप उसका वेबसाइट, एक ई फन करके वेबसाइट है, उसको स्कैन थ्रू कर लीजिए और देख लीजिए कि आप किस प्रोग्राम में इंटरेस्टेड हैं. अगर आप लेट्स से फॉर एग्जांपल आप स्विमिंग में इंटरेस्टेड है, आपके आसपास वाला जो कम्युनिटी सेंटर है उसमें नहीं है, तो नेक्स्ट कहाँ पे है. दे विल ऑल्सो शो यू there is a section on City of Toronto wherein you can find which one are the nearer ones. So not just the nearest one, but आसपास भी और कौन से community center है, उससे आपको idea लग जाएगा. And for that, so basically before the registration date you should have a list of programs that you are interested in for yourself, for your child, for whoever in your family. So that list is important to have, basically to refer to on the registration date, क्योंकि like I said it's becoming so competitive कि basically websites jam हो जाती हैं या तुरंत programs भर जाते हैं. So it's better that you have this whole preparation done right before. So on the registration day, registration starts at 7 a.m. in the morning. You log in and you just go to your program and your community center, add it to your cart, and if there is a fee, pay for the fee. If it is free, even then you need to put it in your cart, pay everything, and then that's about it. So that's the broad process of how it functions here. But in some community centers which are not directly run by the City of Toronto but are like some sort of affiliated to that, there is a different registration process in which, and that you can go to the community center and inquire about it. But in some of them you have to go personally, like it doesn't happen online, so you have to go there and register yourself. And उनके dates थोड़े फर्क होते हैं City of Toronto के program guide से, तो that actually आपको उसके लिए जाना ही पड़ेगा to find out about that. Next question है कि किस तरीके के प्रोग्राम्स, अगर आप नए हैं तो किस तरीके के प्रोग्राम्स आपको देखने चाहिए अपने लिए, अपने बच्चों के लिए, एक्सेट्रा. तो जैसे कि मैं हमेशा कहती हूँ, दिस इज़ ईच वन हिज ओन. जो आपको अच्छा लगता है या आपका एस्पिरेशन है या जो बच्चे को पसंद है उस तरीके के प्रोग्राम्स डालें. यूजुअली यहाँ सब तरीके की चीज़ें अवेलेबल होती हैं. अगर यहाँ एक कम्युनिटी सेंटर में नहीं होंगे तो दूसरे में होंगे, सो दैट्स ऑलवेज अ पॉसिबिलिटी. बट इन जनरल जो मेरा एक्सपीरियंस है, हमारा एक्सपीरियंस है, उसके हिसाब से यहाँ पे स्पोर्ट्स रिलेटेड प्रोग्राम्स बहुत ज़्यादा हैं और बहुत like I would say they kind of they differentiate from what you would perhaps get in India or in that subcontinent than here. So a lot of focus, for example, is on soccer, basketball. There's a lot of focus on swimming. There's a lot of focus on gymnastics. So basically sports related programs are highly competitive here, और उनके spots बहुत जल्दी बढ़ जाते हैं. For example, for us, for swimming and gymnastics, I think we missed two seasons just because we couldn't register in time, or we got to know about all of this a little later. There are a lot of programs on fitness. This information is more valid for adults. They have everything from yoga to Pilates to things like karate to all kind of dances like hip hops and all of that are there. So Zumba. So I think आप उस चीज़ का फ़ायदा उठा सकते हैं for your own fitness. So yeah, and I would suggest that you scan through the programs yourself and see what you like. But I hope this information is useful, and I wish I would have known all this information well in time when I came. See you next week with another video. Thank you. Bye.